For a second time, a judge has struck down the state's voter ID law.
It was inconceivable to me that they would not overturn it.
The order follows one in a separate lawsuit last week. But unlike that decision, which put a temporary hold on the law, the most recent one permanently strikes the law down. It's a ruling that Governor Walker says will be overturned.
It is about the most common sense piece of legislation you can have.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, a Dane County judge ruled the voter ID law was unconstitutional. Now, it comes in response to a lawsuit filed by the League of Women Voters. It's one of 4 lawsuits filed against the law, which just took effect this year. Today, Dane County Judge Richard Neese issued a permanent injunction, and it says that the law's requirements diminish a citizen's right to vote. And once again, the move is getting mixed reaction, even from one village board. Fox 11's Beth Jones brings us multiple views tonight.
From a temporary injunction to a permanent one. If the most recent ruling stands, it looks as though voters will be able to keep their IDs in their pockets when heading to the polls for future elections. The League of Women Voters says that's how it should be.
In Wisconsin, our law specifically states who is able to vote, and it has nothing about presenting a photo ID.
Patricia Finderstone with the Greater Green Bay chapter was pleased with Monday's ruling. She says the law would hinder the right for some people to vote.
I do think it's common sense. According to our Constitution, this is the law.
The voter ID, I mean, think about it, it is about the most common sense piece of legislation you can have.
But Governor Scott Walker feels the opposite and believes the ruling won't stand.
I think ultimately the law has been upheld in other states, and I believe it will be upheld in Wisconsin.
The law is also getting some support from a local government. Monday night, members of the Howard Village Board passed a resolution supporting the law.
Spent a lot of time and resources here in the village of Howard to ensure these elections are accessible as well as protected from fraud. And that's what this resolution is about tonight. It's about doing what we can in the village of Howard to have our voice heard on this very important issue.
However, those opposed to the law feel the important issue is making sure the voter ID law is overturned.
Voter fraud is no more poisonous to our democracy than voter suppression, and that indeed is what I see, that it's a monster.
State Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen says he plans to appeal both this ruling and last week's ruling. However, a spokesperson told me they don't know when those appeals will be filed.